It was late on a Thursday night, May 2025, when I first saw it. I was in my office at Georgia Southern University, grading papers under the dim glow of my desk lamp. The campus was quiet, save for the occasional hum of a car on the street below. I was exhausted, my eyes burning from hours of reading student essays, but I had a deadline to meet. As a psychology professor, I prided myself on being punctual, even if it meant burning the midnight oil. My name is John, and I'm 38 years old. I've been teaching at GSU for nearly a decade, specializing in abnormal psychology, particularly phobias. It's a field that fascinates me, studying the irrational fears that grip people's minds. But lately, my work had taken a personal turn. You see, I've always been terrified of clowns. Coulrophobia, it's called. It's not something I share with colleagues or students, but it's been with me since I was a child. The memory is hazy, but it's there, buried deep. I was 10, at my best friend's birthday party in 1987. A clown was hired to entertain us. Big red nose, oversized shoes, and a painted smile that stretched too wide. At first, I laughed along with the other kids, but then he pulled me aside, away from the group, and whispered something in my ear. I can't recall the words, but I remember the smell of his breath, like rotten eggs, and the way his eyes seemed to pierce through me, cold and unfeeling. I screamed until my throat was raw, and my parents had to pick me up early. The clown just stood there, watching me with that grotesque smile. I've tried to bury that memory, but it's always lingered. And now, with the recent clown sightings on campus, it's all come flooding back. It started a few weeks ago. Students reported seeing clowns, tall, silent figures in tattered costumes, lurking near dorms or standing under streetlights at night. I dismissed it as college pranks or overactive imaginations. But then I read about similar sightings across the Southeast, South Carolina, North Carolina, Ohio, Florida, and right here in Georgia, Statesboro Herald. Some reports were chilling, claiming clowns were luring children with money or candy before vanishing. It was unsettling, even for a skeptic like me. I saw an opportunity for my research. Mass hysteria, I thought. A perfect case study for how fear spreads like a virus. I set up a project, interviewing students who claimed to have seen the clowns. Most were young, impressionable, their stories exaggerated. But one student, Emily, a sophomore, seemed genuinely shaken. She described seeing a clown outside her dorm window at 3 a.m., its face pressed against the glass, staring with dead black eyes. She said she found a smudge of white makeup on the window the next morning. I didn't fully believe her, but I took notes for my paper. That night, as I left my office, I saw something that froze my blood. Across the campus quad, under a flickering streetlight, stood a figure. It was tall, thin, in a tattered clown costume. Its face was painted white, with a red nose and a smile that stretched unnaturally wide, just like the clown from my childhood. It stared directly at me. I blinked, and it was gone. I told myself it was my imagination, that the students' stories were getting to me. But deep down, I knew better. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The next few days were a blur. I threw myself into my work, trying to ignore the growing dread. But the sightings didn't stop, and neither did the strange occurrences. I started finding things in my office. Clown dolls on my desk, red balloons tied to my chair, even a pair of oversized clown shoes placed neatly by the door. I had no idea how they got there. This wasn't a student prank. This was something else. I began researching the history of clown sightings, hoping for a rational explanation. I found articles about the 2016 clown hysteria, when creepy clowns appeared across the US and UK. Some were hoaxes, but others were more sinister. Reports of clowns attacking people or luring children into the woods. It was chilling, but it didn't explain what was happening now, in 2025. Then I stumbled on something that made my stomach drop. In an old newspaper archive, I found a story from 1987, the year of my childhood trauma. It was about a missing child in my hometown, a boy who vanished after a birthday party with a clown. The clown was from a local carnival, but no one could recall his name or origin. The case was never solved. My hands trembled as I read. Could it be connected? Was the clown from my childhood the same one haunting me now? It seemed impossible, but the similarities were uncanny. The same painted smile, the same cold eyes. It was him. I decided to face my fear. If this was psychological, I needed to confront it. I spoke to colleagues and staff, but no one else was experiencing what I was. They thought the sightings were rumors, nothing more. Even Emily, the student who saw the clown, now claimed she'd made it up for attention. But I saw the fear in her eyes. She was lying. One night, walking to my car after a late class, I saw it again. The clown stood in the parking lot, his back to me, staring at the trees. My heart pounded as it slowly turned, its face lit by the streetlight. It was the same clown, no doubt. Its smile widened as it raised a gloved hand and waved. I ran, locking myself in my car, fumbling with the keys. When I looked back, the clown was gone. But on my windshield, written in red lipstick, were the words, "You can't hide forever." This wasn't a prank. It was something sinister. I dug deeper, searching for links between the 1987 disappearance and the current sightings. I found old police reports and grainy photos of the carnival clown, but nothing concrete. Then I received an anonymous email with a single image. Me as a child, standing next to the clown at that birthday party. Below it were the words, "We've been waiting for you." I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that smile, those eyes. I knew I had to act, but who could I turn to? The police would think I was crazy. My colleagues would dismiss it as stress. I was alone. The final straw was finding a clown mask in my car, sitting on the passenger seat, staring with hollow eyes. I threw it out, but it felt like a violation, like something had been inside my car while I was teaching. That night, I decided to end it. If the clown wanted me, it could have me. I drove to the abandoned carnival grounds outside town, where rusted rides stood like skeletons under the moonlight. The carnival had closed in the late 1980s, around the time of the missing child case. I walked through the gates, the shadows of the broken Ferris wheel and tilted carousel looming around me. I didn't wait long. From the funhouse shadows, it emerged. The clown. It moved slowly, its oversized shoes crunching on gravel. Its face was the same as in my nightmares, but worse. The paint was cracked, revealing raw, festering skin. Its eyes weren't black, but empty sockets, hollow and dark. "You remember me?" it rasped, its voice sending chills down my spine. I nodded, speechless. "Good," it said, stepping closer, "because I've never forgotten you." It held a red balloon, just like the ones from my childhood. "Take it," it said. "It's for you." I backed away, but the funhouse loomed behind me, its entrance gaping like a mouth. "What do you want?" I managed to say. "Your fear," it said, its smile widening impossibly. "It's delicious. I realized it wasn't just a clown. It was something inhuman, a demon feeding on terror, and I'd been its target since childhood. But I wasn't a child anymore. I lunged, grabbing the balloon and yanking it away. The clown hissed, its form shimmering like smoke. "You can't defeat me," it said. "I am eternal." "Maybe," I said, "but I'm not alone." Emily stepped forward, her face pale but determined. She'd followed me, worried about my obsession. "Leave him alone," she shouted. The clown laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Another toy," it said, reaching for her. I pulled out my letter opener, a pitiful weapon, but all I had. I slashed at the balloon, popping it with a bang. The clown screamed, its form flickering. "Run!" I shouted to Emily, but she was frozen, staring as the clown advanced. I stabbed at its chest, but the knife passed through like smoke. "You can't kill me," it said, weaker now. "But you can trap me." I remembered my research, a way to banish such entities requiring a sacrifice. I looked at Emily, then at the clown. I knew what I had to do. "I'll take your place," I said. "Let her go, and I'll stay." The clown nodded. "Very well, but you'll never leave." It touched my forehead, and I fell into darkness. When I opened my eyes, I was in the funhouse, surrounded by mirrors. Each showed the clown's face, not mine. I was trapped in its form, its mind. Emily's scream faded as she ran. At least she was safe. But I was lost, my laughter echoing through the halls of my mind, no longer my own.